Shit, that's hot. Oh, man. What's going on, everyone? I'm going to stay here for a few minutes and let some people jump on. If you are watching on this one, might want to jump over to the Roadway page. The link's posted on the Facebook page, and you'll get better sound because that's, my mic's hooked up to that camera. It's probably pretty good right here, but I'm just saying. I'm on both my personal page and the Roadway page, and the Roadway page is a direct camera, so your choice. But what's up, Curtis? Let's see here what we got going on. Get these cameras going. Just gonna kind of kill a few minutes here, let some people jump on. If you are jumping on this camera right here, if I'm pointing at you, you might want to move over to the Roadway podcast page. You don't have to, but you'll get the direct view and the better sound. It's up to you. It's up to you. Appreciate everyone coming on. If you're coming on, leave a comment, a thumbs up. Let me know you're there. We're going to be giving away, if you're local, we're going to be giving away a gym membership today at some point. If you guys don't let me effing forget, we'll talk about that later. So make sure you comment. You have to leave a comment to even be eligible to win that free gym membership to All Time Fitness here in Monticello. Obviously, if you're not local, don't do that. Somebody local will use it. We'll have other prizes for people not local. We're giving away a Zero Foxtrot shirt on June 1st. If you guys aren't aware, what's up, cuz? Neil's back. Glad to see you, bro. We're giving away a t-shirt, any t-shirt or tank or whatever you want. Well, not whatever you want. I don't know if hoodies are, no, it's only t-shirts or tanks. We're going to be giving it away from Zero Foxtrot. That's a vet-owned company. It's a Marine Corps vet-owned company. I think I posted a link somewhere. You can go there and look at. They got some really badass stuff there, man. Just straight up savage stuff. Next month, June 1st, we're going to be giving that away. All you have to do to be eligible to win that is subscribe to the YouTube page. There's a video on the YouTube page about the giveaway. Just go there, like that video, leave a comment, and subscribe, and you are eligible to win a tank or t-shirt of your choice from Zero Foxtrot. It's a badass company. Go check it out. Even if you're not entering the contest, you should go check it out. It's a Marine vet-owned company, and they have some badass stuff, so go there and take a look. Also, while I'm waiting to get started this morning, I'm going to shout out to my friends. I say friends, not sponsors, because, guys, these are not my sponsors. They don't pay me. I don't get anything from them. When I go to them, I buy the products that I consume. So if I go to Monticello Coffee Company, I buy coffee. They don't give me coffee. There's no hookups. There's no shout outs. Here you go. I mean, it's really, when I back something, it's because I'm a customer, not because, I'm being hooked up. All right. So full disclosure, that's the deal, guys. So make sure if you're local, go support your local businesses. Stop by Monticello Coffee Company. Not just the best coffee around here, the best coffee, period. If you're in the mood for a tea or a nutritious shake, make sure you go by All Time Fitness, see Season at Stealth Nutrition. We gave away 4 shakes the other day, and you guys only claimed 3 of them. So I'm not even complaining about that because I got the 4th one. I paid for those shakes. So again, that wasn't a hookup. Season tried to do it for free, but I wouldn't let her. All right. So she tried to do it, but we, I paid for those shakes, but man, hey, I had one left over. So I got to have that one after my workout the other day. Back in the gym. Who out there, leave a comment, leave a like if you are freaking stoked that the gyms are open. I am, okay? All of the people that are afraid of COVID and you think the world's ending and all that stuff, hey, I understand. I feel for you, but I'm happy businesses are starting to open. The economy is getting back on track or heading that way. So all the businesses out there, they're doing the right thing. They're doing the best they can as far as preventative measures. But I'm glad to see that small business owners are starting to get back in the mix. Because I'm going to tell you something. it is a little frustrating when you look out there and you see your small gyms and your nail salons and your hair salons and your coffee companies and your small mom and pop restaurants and stores, and they're out of business, and yet you go to somewhere and Lowe's is effing packed. Walmart is packed. It's frustrating because it does look like a war on small business. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's the way it looks. And I'm glad to see small business owners, at least in this state, are getting a chance to get back in the game and start making the money. All right, we love them, and we're glad that they're coming back. If you guys are hearing me good, does it sound good? I'm working with a new mic. Give me a thumbs up on either one of them. If you're watching, if I'm pointing at you right now, I believe you're watching on my personal page. If I'm pointing at you right now, you're watching on the Roadway page. So just two different cameras. The sound mic's hooked up to this camera, not that one, to this one. So the sound might be a little better on that. I'm not sure. What time is it? It's 10:04. So we're going to, who we got? You guys, what's going on? What's going on? What's up? Sherry, what's up? Eugene, everyone that's on, I appreciate you guys dropping by. I was just saying that I was freaking stoked, man. I went to the gym. I've been to the gym twice since they opened back up, or since this one opened back up. And if you went to the gym and the next day you couldn't move the muscles you worked, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. I tore my shit up, man. And I didn't think I was doing that much. You know, I just went and did some incline press. I did some little bit of shoulder, some deltoid stuff. I really didn't hit it very hard, man. But being out of the gym for so long, the next day, immediately I could feel, you know, the muscle tear, what am I trying to say? Immediately I could feel it. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was going to be bad. And it was. But, you know, I dosed up on some protein leaving there, and it healed up pretty good. I was back in the gym yesterday. I worked, the first day I went, I worked chest. I worked some shoulders, did some arms. The second day, I did legs. And then yesterday, I went in and I did back. And, yeah, I guess that's about right. My chest had just started to kind of normalize. What's up, Larry, Sherry? Appreciate you guys joining in. Guys, today we're going to talk about some sick shit. Literally sick shit. We're going to talk about some stuff that is just freaking fascinating to me. Full disclosure, Anthony, thanks for dropping in. Aaron, what's up, buddy? Derek, when are you coming back on the show, bro? Derek Leftwich just dropped in. I'm already hitting him up. I'm ready for him to come back, dude. We need to have some Jameson. We need to have some conversation. I know you're hearing me right now. When are you coming back? All right, I need a commitment from you. I need you back on the show. All right, as soon as possible. What was I saying? What was I talking about? I was talking about the gym, and then today's show. So we're going to talk about some pretty sick stuff, man. Like, I have always been interested. Full disclosure, I am not a psychologist, obviously. Anyone who knows me knows I'm way too stupid for that. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not in the mental health field at all, although I have been treated by it once or twice. I fucking probably shouldn't have said that, but I did. Oh well. Anyway, but I will tell you this, man. This is a fascinating subject for me, and I probably watched, 4 or 5 hours of this shit on YouTube last night, so now I'm pretty much an expert, okay? I know all about it. No. But seriously, though, we're going to talk about it. I'm curious if anyone's had any experiences with this type of stuff. I would be interested for your comments. I'm going to post a link for a book for those who might have been in relationships with these sort of personality disorders, I guess. But today we're going to be talking about narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. What the fuck are they? What is the difference? And how do you know if you know one? What's the factors? So I'm gonna breeze through a couple of articles and stuff. I'm gonna talk about some things that I learned. And first I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post this book. I haven't read the book, and again, this isn't a plug really. I mean, this person has no idea who I am. But I watched a lot of her videos last night. I really enjoyed watching them. I can't pronounce her name. I hope that doesn't sound racist. But I can't pronounce her name. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and post this on the Roadways page. And whether or not you are interested in a book or not, you should really go hit YouTube up and go to, I believe it's the site's called MedCircle, and listen to her talk about how she defines the difference between, like, she defines narcissists and sociopaths and psychopaths and the difference between them. So, what the hell? Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The first thing, I didn't know the difference. I mean, I remember I went to a, I was in college. I was going to the University of Arkansas here at Monticello, and I was taking it's an entry level class. It's a freshman class. It's Intro to Psychology, right? And I remember having this conversation. I remember this class, the difference between, or talking about sociopaths, talking about psychopaths. And it left an impression. But years before that, when I was in the Marine Corps, I was in Quantico. I was doing some training. A couple guys on my Facebook page, a couple friends of mine, Marine Corps buddies of mine, were there with me. Josh Laverty, you probably remember this. Harry Frederick, you probably remember this. Chad Rourke, you were on the staff at that time, so I think you would remember this. But we had some guys from, it was at Quantico, which is where the FBI Academy is, and some of their stuff is located. And some guys from Quantico, FBI, they were from the behavioral sciences. I don't know if they were profilers. I really can't remember what they did. I'm assuming that they were instructors, but I can't remember specifically. But they came in and they were talking to us about the difference between sociopaths and psychopaths. And the way I remember them explaining it was a lot different than the way I remembered it in college, and then the way I remember people talking about other things. So I noticed that the difference is, like, they seem to, it's almost like the professionals don't agree on some things. And that kind of caught my behavior, because a sociopath and a psychopath, we always hear about psychopaths. There's movies about them. We talk about people being psycho all the time. It's kind of thrown around. And same thing with sociopaths and narcissists. And my question is, what are they? So I'm going to start with what I got out of my research. And if you are in the mental health profession, if you have insight, if I'm wrong about something, please leave a comment. Let me know. Drop some links, drop some information. This is a Q&A. This is a discussion. This is not a class. I am not teaching anyone about psychopaths or sociopaths or narcissists. I'm just talking about the shit, man, because apparently we're surrounded by them. First thing I want to talk about is narcissists. I had this pulled up. This is some really interesting stuff. I posted a link to the book. She describes narcissism. I noticed that something she said seemed to contradict something I read a minute ago. When she was asked what the main trait of a narcissist is, her immediate response, and I'm talking about, I'm going to give a stab at her name, Dr. Ramani Durvasulas. Okay, she wrote a book called Should I Stay or Should I Go? This is kind of her field. This is what she does. The description is, the book is a definitive survival guide and provides an honest outlook on what to expect and how to recover from, and how basically surviving, the subtitle, Surviving a Relationship with a Narcissist. There seem to be a lot of things that are similar between narcissism and sociopaths and psychopaths. So when she was asked what a narcissist is, or what would be the first trait that she would describe a narcissist, her first thing was extremely low self-esteem. Mike says, hey bro, far as narcissists go, I was married to one for a while. I'm glad that one was over shortly. Well, there you go, man. Maybe you should read this book, or should have read this book, or maybe you don't need it anymore. You got out of it. So I'm going to read this book. I'm probably going to get the audio version. I just really want to hear about this, because I know, we all know narcissists. And here's the crazy thing. When she was asked if you had to write a book, or when she actually stated, if I had to write a book on narcissism, it would be a how to succeed she actually used the words a new world order. I don't think that was a conspiracy relation, or a conspiracy related phrase with her. I think she was talking about the way that things are these days. We are living in a very, I guess you could say, fertile ground for narcissism in this world now. And she said if she wrote a book about narcissism, if you read it, it would essentially be how to make it. That's pretty disturbing if you think about it. Okay, so a book about narcissism would be how to succeed. But when she was asked what the defining trait, I guess, of narcissism was, she said a low self-esteem. Other stuff I read said a high amount of self-confidence. So I don't know in the mental health profession or in the, I guess you could say, the academics of it, if there's a big difference between confidence and esteem. I don't really understand how those two could, how they relate to each other. But she said someone of low self-esteem, and in the other stuff I was reading, it said those with extremely, almost unnatural self-confidence. What do you guys think about that? I mean, have you ever known someone that you believe was a narcissist, that everything was always about them? It was always about them. No matter what they did, it was, it was the shining the light back on them. I'll give you some examples that I notice. Number one is when people, when they do a lot of good things, all right, maybe they help. And she was even mentioning this. She defined this as, I believe it was communal narcissism. I may be butchering that. But people who, example of that would be someone who goes out, maybe, you look at things going on now with all the different, I guess say disasters or whatever. Maybe they go out, they go somewhere to help. Maybe there's a tornado or a hurricane or some natural disaster. Or they go on a missions trip, or they go somewhere there to help. But there's a lot of pictures of them helping, and they're always fixed up, and if they're a woman, their makeup is perfect, and there's a lot of look at me, look what the good I'm doing. And that is, a trait or a sign of narcissism. And that is they help, but they don't help for their own purposes, or they don't help for the good. They help to promote themselves. And according to her, one of the reasons why they do stuff like this is because they have a low self-esteem. Maybe they didn't accomplish the shit that they wanted to accomplish when they grew up. I've seen this. I've seen this among people that I know who wanted to be something or define themselves as something, but never really went and did it. Never left home, or never stepped out and took a chance. Maybe they were scared of failure, or maybe they just couldn't leave home for whatever reasons. But they wanted to be identified as something, and they never were. They never achieved that. And maybe because of that, maybe because they didn't achieve that, and they still wanted people to think of them that way, or they were afraid that people would look at them as a failure, then they have tried to identify themselves as something, or constantly look at me and look at what I'm doing and look at, how I'm related to that field. And I've seen this, and it's always been weird, because it always struck to me as people who were afraid of failure. Failure is a weird thing, in that I always tell people for most of the success that I've had in my life, I failed way more. I have a tremendous amount of failure. I fucking suck at a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm not good at very many things. I'm not. And even the things that I think I'm good at, I have overestimated myself, and I went out and I failed. And failure is, it sucks because it's a huge kick to your ego, especially when people outside of your circle are looking to you succeed. Okay, they're looking to you to do something. Maybe they know that you're going to go out and you're going to, this is your hobby, whatever it is, and that you're going to go to a competition. And the people around you who don't do that, who are not related to that, they look at you as almost a subject matter expert in that field. So let's say that you are in high school and you are a really good baseball player, and all your friends don't have anything to do with baseball. To them, you are the subject matter expert on baseball. And you know, you go out and you play college ball, or you try to play college ball, or whatever it is, and maybe you try to go pro and you don't make it and you come back. And some people may look at that as, you know, well, they feel like a failure. And they may, in that case, try to make up for it. And this isn't an example of anyone. I'm just making this up as I go. But what they don't realize is that to those of us who don't know anything about baseball, as far as the operation of it, as far as actually doing it, we may watch it on TV, we may be fans, but I'm talking about, you know, throwing 80-mile-an-hour fastballs or hitting that type of stuff, or playing on that level, on the collegiate level, or even in a high school level, really good. Those of us that have never done that, it doesn't matter that this person didn't make it in the pros. To us, they're still badass. I mean, that's just the way it is. If I know somebody who is doing something on a high level that I know nothing about, it doesn't really matter to me how high of a level that they go. It doesn't really matter to me whether they are pro or whether they are amateur or high school. If they're really good at something, if they have mastered their craft, or at least they've done that on whatever level they are, then as far as I'm concerned, they're a badass, because that's something that I don't know anything about, and maybe I want to. Now, I digress on that, but getting back to the narcissist thing is, sometimes you see that with people who have never went and done what they wanted to do, never gave it a try, or maybe they failed and they don't realize that they don't have to fake it. They can just say, hey, you know what, I failed, but this is what I did. I don't know. I see that with that. But I've also seen it with those who succeed. And, you know, they succeed, and everything is about that world. And on the opposite, I guess, you know, what I've noticed on that one is, you ever know someone who everything is about what they do, and it's not about anything. They don't care about anyone else's. So if they are this, whatever it is, go back to sports or whatever. If they are this, everything about the world has to be about that. If they have a business, or if they have whatever, everything in the conversation always has to be about that. It has to validate that. It has to everything. They don't listen to anything you have to say. They're not interested in anything you have to say. But when they talk to you, everything changes. I'll give you an example. We all know that person that when they're talking, they light up, right? When they're talking, they light up. But when you respond to what they're saying, they go to their phone. Nothing in the world makes me want to punch the fucker in the face than that shit right there. There is nothing more disrespecting than someone who expects you to listen to them, but when you start talking, they immediately go to something else in your secondary conversation. All of a sudden, they're multitasking, right? That's a fucking narcissist. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm not a psychologist, but that is a narcissist, because they value their shit way more. They don't value yours at all. They don't care about what, you know, about you or anything else. We're going to go real quick. I'm going to click on to, I saw this earlier and I wanted to go back to it. So before I forget, let me hit this thing. It's like 7 things about narcissism. Let's see here. My computer will work on me. Give me a second. Okay, come up how to know if someone's a narc. That's probably a show for a different subject there. 11 signs that you're dating a narcissist. Okay, I don't care who you are. If you have dated, if you're dating someone, this has got to be a little interesting to you. The same thing we talk, and we'll do this with sociopaths and psychopaths too. I look, this is from Healthline. The article I'm pulling up is healthline.com, I believe. My computer's a little bit jacked up. Like I said, one thing I noticed on some of these subjects is not all psychologists seem to agree on some of these. But I'm just going to read some of this to you because this is just freaking fascinating stuff to me. Oh my God, I wish you guys could see this. Literally the picture I was just talking about someone who, when they're talking, they're lit up, but when you're talking, they're on their phone. The picture on the screen right now, if you go to healthline.com and you go to this, I'll post a link. I'll drop the link on there. But when you click onto it, that's exactly what it is. It's this dude laying on his girlfriend's shoulder, and behind his back, she's sitting there with her phone because she's talking to someone else. She has zero interest in his world, in his life, in his pain, apparently, is what I'm seeing. No interest whatsoever in what he's going through. The only thing she gives a fuck about is what's going on in her life and on her phone. So when someone posts too many selfies, flex pics of their date or on their dating profile, or talks about themselves constantly during a first date, we might call them a narcissist. But a true narcissist is someone with narcissistic personality disorder. They're calling that NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. It's a mental health condition characterized by an inflated sense of importance. All right, so they think that they're more relevant than what they are. You see this with people in certain professions, and their profession may be the most honorable and great, one of the greatest professions on the planet, but they try to take more credit or different credit than they deserve. I'll give you an example. This is a perfect example. Listen, the warrior title. Okay? If you're going to listen to anything I say and you can quote me on this shit, quote me on it. I don't give a, this is one of the things that really pisses me off. If your job, if your profession prepares, trains, and or does send you to war, not to the streets here, not to the NBA game, not to an actual war where people with fucking machine guns are trying to kill you, or something similar, then you are a warrior. If you've never been to a war zone, if your profession doesn't train to send you off to war, you're not a warrior. I don't care how honorable your profession is. It doesn't matter. That's awesome. You don't need to steal something from someone else that's honored. This is coming. I'm going to get on a rant on this one. This Memorial Day is coming up. Okay? Memorial Day is about one thing specific. Okay? And I'm going to piss some people off on this one. But it's only about the warriors, the airmen, the sailors, the soldiers, the Marines that have given their lives in warfare, in combat. Okay? It's not about veterans who are alive. It's not about police officers. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about the airmen, sailors, soldiers, and Marines who have given their lives in war. It's to honor them. Nothing pisses me off more than whenever I see memes or posts identifying someone in their profession as something that it's not. All right? You guys see where I'm coming with that? You may be a firefighter, you may be a police officer, you may be a professional whatever, okay? You may be awesome, and your profession may be truly honorable and amazing and selfless and all that stuff. But you are what you are, and you're not what you're not. If you feel the need to be something you're not, knowing that you're not that, then you are a fucking narcissist, in my opinion. And if you don't know that you're not that, then you're just crazy. All right, but don't pretend to be, don't try to paint your profession or you as something you're not because you like the attention that they get. All right, so that would be an example. An inflated sense of importance. You have an important role in your life. It may be the most important thing you do in your life is being a father. What is more honorable than that? If you can't be proud of your identity as a father, then I don't know what to say to you. But there's nothing out there more honorable than that. And you may have never served in the military. You may never went to work and had to strap on a gun or put body armor on. You may have never done any of that. All right? That doesn't have anything to do with how much respect I give you. I respect people by how well they take their craft seriously, how good they are at what they do. As a former Marine, I don't go around looking for, I'm not tribal in the sense that I only want to be friends with vets. In fact, I really don't have very many veteran friends. They're my brothers and they're across the country. If I'm talking about people that I hang out with locally all the time, I've always tried to gravitate toward people that did something completely different than me. I was always interested in, what you do. If it's at the gym, Matt, it fascinates me how dedicated he is to fitness, to the gym. If someone's doing, all the trainers out there, they fascinate me. They may not know anything about training for combat in a military tactical sense, compared to me. And I don't know anything about working out compared to them. That's what interests me. They don't pretend to be something they're not. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. It's a mutual respect. You don't need to inflate it. If you are an accountant and that's just a means to an end, that's just how you make your living, so you go home and raise your kids, there's nothing more honorable than raising kids. There's nothing. Show me something. Show me something. So, an inflated sense of importance. All right, the next one. A deep need for excessive attention and admiration. That speaks for itself. The next one though, we talked about that already, so I'm not going to keep going. But the next one is this is something that it looks like a lot of these share. I noticed a woman called them, and the psychologists out there, they're probably laughing at me because I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm trying. The cluster B group. They got different clusters of these disorders, and the cluster B group, I guess, according to the manuals and stuff, is what these fall into. And if I'm quoting her correctly, she said the big thing about cluster B is lack of empathy, or at least the common thing between narcissism, sociopath, and psychopaths is lack of empathy for others. So we've all known that person. I may talk tough, but I have a lot of empathy. Maybe I don't have empathy for people. Maybe I only have empathy for animals. I love animals. I can't stand to see someone hurt an animal. I will fuck somebody up if they hurt an animal. Okay? And children, But that's a good question. Self-evaluation time. Am I a narcissist because I lack empathy for people? I don't know. Maybe I need to think about that one. I'm going to make a t-shirt that says I'm cluster B as fuck. Would that sound cool? Would you guys get that shirt the rogue way at cluster B as fuck? I don't know. A lack of empathy for others. On a serious note, we're talking, this is a serious subject. You have no empathy. You have no, you don't have the ability to put yourself in someone's shoes. I hope I'm using empathy and sympathy, I know, get mixed up. I hope I'm using the right definition. But you do not have the ability, because you're so selfish. You do not have the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to look at it from their perspective. That can be a very dangerous thing, right? That can be a very dangerous thing. You often have trouble relationships. Well, of course you have troubled relationships. If you can't look at the other person's side, if you have no ability to put yourself in their shoes, then how can you not have troubled relationships? 9, what is this? I'm getting here. Okay, so 9 official criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. A grand sense of self-importance. Okay, you think that you're the greatest thing ever, and that's all you want to talk about, and that's everything about you. A preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. All right, so what are we talking about? I don't even know, man. Preoccupation with fantasies. I guess maybe you spend a lot of time thinking about what you should have or what you want. Unlimited success. No boundaries, maybe. Power. No boundaries in power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Things that you can't have. Maybe you expect things. Because this is all selfish stuff, right? This is stuff that only serves you. So maybe that's the point. This is stuff that's unlimited power. That's some Darth Vader shit, right? I don't think he had narcissistic personality disorder. I think he was just pissed off because he lost his mother and his wife. But still, belief that they're special and unique. She mentioned that we're living in a society of narcissists, that we're creating them at the cyclic rate. And I think this is probably part of it. Like I said, full disclaimer again, guys, I'm not a psychologist. This is me talking about some shit. This is a discussion. I know you guys aren't really talking back with it, but I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, man. I took a class in college, intro to psychology, and I watched a lot of YouTube. But I believe that they're special and unique. You know, how many times were we told as kids that we're special and we could do anything in the world? All right, I was told that. I don't know if I was told I could do anything in the world, but I was, we're all told we're special. We're of course we're special to our mommies. But if that's taken to an extreme, if you hear that your entire life and you're not, you're not. Nothing, I think that the idea that I was special ended about day one of boot camp. That's when I realized I was nothing. And then my entire Marine Corps career, no matter how cool whatever I was doing was, I was never at the top percent. I was never in the top side of that. So whatever I was doing in the military, it could have been a cool thing, but I was never in like the best guys of doing it, or even the top guys doing it. I was always like in the middle, or I was lucky to be there, guys. You guys remember in Top Gun when Goose was told by the captain, the skipper of the ship, "You're just lucky to be here." And he said, "Thank you, sir." That was me. I was that guy. I was lucky to be there. Now, my friends at home, they may think, "Well, man, he did all this cool stuff." Trust me, all the cool shit I did, I was barely hanging on. Barely. All right? But that may be with that belief that you're special or unique and can only be understood by or should associate with a certain type of people. So you're a fucking snob. That's what I'm reading. You think that you're fucking special and you're a snob. I don't know. Need for excessive admiration. Your day, the success you have throughout your day is determined by how much admiration you get, how many likes you get on social media, how many follows you get on social media. A sense of entitlement. You deserve what you don't deserve. If you don't deserve it, you don't deserve it, okay? You earn it or you don't. It's just the way it is. But that person believes that anything that they want, that everyone should think that they're the best person for that position or that thing. That would be a sense of entitlement. Or, I'll give you an example. Okay, so here's my example of entitlement. All right? I hope I'm not boring you guys, but I'm just talking as I'm going. The person that walks in and thinks that their lack of planning is your emergency, okay? Or that because you may not be able to do something for them, that it's your responsibility, because that whatever they need is now your responsibility. What I mean by that is, someone comes up to you and they say, well, I need to do this, maybe your job. And you say, well, that's not allowed. And they say, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, it's not my responsibility to tell you what you should be doing. I'm just telling you that you can't do this, okay? Does that make sense to everyone? But their question, when someone goes immediately to, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, if it's not, it may not even be anything related to you. For instance, you didn't get your stimulus check, okay? You didn't get your stimulus check. Well, I didn't get my stimulus check. What the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know what you're supposed to do. All right? It's your responsibility to figure that out. Just because you don't have an answer doesn't mean you're everyone else's problem. Okay? You need to figure that out. You are the master of your own path. And if you start expecting everyone else to do that for you, that is entitlement. All right? I'm going to give you some advice. I live by this and I believe in this. I, nor you or anyone else is as important to people as you think you are. Okay? I am not very important to most people. I'm not very important to myself. You don't believe it? Look at the... Never mind. We'll go there another day. But I'm saying that other than your family, you may be the most important person to your child, and you should cherish that. You may be the most important person to your wife or your husband, and you should cherish that. But that doesn't translate into everyone else out in town. They have their own family. They have their own life. They have things that they have their own problems. You are not their problem. Okay? If you think you're everyone else's problem and everyone else should be providing a solution to you, then you might be a narcissist. Interpersonally exploitive behavior, lack of empathy, envy of others or belief that others are envious of them, and demonstration of arrogant or haughty behaviors or attitudes. So you guys get the point on that. All right, narcissistic behavior. So what is a sociopath? Let's take a look. Profile of a sociopath. This is coming from something I'll have to post a link to. I'm not vouching for any of these things. I'm just reading what it says. This site summarizes some of the common features and descriptions behavior of sociopaths. All right, so and a lot of these are very much like narcissism. Okay, pathological lying, grand sense of self, lack of remorse, shame, or guilt. Shallow emotions, when they show what seems to be warmth, joy, love, compassion, it all serves another motive. They become warm when they want something and they get it, and then, it's the whole ghosting thing. I would probably, I don't know if this is in here, I would say lack of respect. They don't show you the same respect you show them. You text them, when they call or text you, you respond immediately. When you call or text them, you may or may not even get a response for them. That's very shallow. Incapacity for love. They don't have any empathy, and there's something in them that's incapacitated that makes them incapable of. Now, what the woman did say yesterday was the main difference between the narcissist and sociopaths and the psychopath is that the narcissist and sociopaths was essentially learned behavior. Okay, this is stuff that they became. Where a psychopath, it's more believed that this is how they were born. That there is an actual difference in how their brain works. That that these things, empathy, love, that these things just aren't active in their brain. That they are, they're hollow. Sociopath, callousness, lack of empathy, unable to empathize with the pain of their victims, having only contempt for others' feelings or distress, and readily taking advantage of them. This is mean-spirited shit, guys. This is not just, I don't understand how you feel. This is, I hold your feelings in contempt. I don't identify with them, and they annoy me. Okay? You see how that can be dangerous. Early behavior, problems with juvenile delinquency. They have a history of behavioral difficulties. They get by conning others. I'm sorry. They have problems keeping friends. Everyone's always, out to get them. But they're, I guess that would be a narcissist, maybe. Irresponsibility, unreliability. Not concerned about wrecking others' lives and dreams, obvious or indifferent to the devastation that they cause. Promiscuous sexual behavior, infidelity. All right, so listen, but look, all you whores and man whores out there, it doesn't mean that you're a sociopath just because of this, but you could be. Promiscuity, there's some really bad shit in here that's not just, you're a little bit promiscuous. There's predatorial behavior. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like psychopath. Now, they did make a point that psychopaths are sociopaths and narcissists, but narcissists and sociopaths are not always psychopaths. And I guess that has to do with the fact that you're talking about something that psychopaths having been born that way. I don't know. If I'm wrong. Hey, Sarah. What's up? Hold on. What'd she say here? Ain't that the truth? Criminal or entrepreneurial I don't know that word. Changes their image as they need to avoid prosecution. Changes life story readily. Okay, so these are like predatorial chameleons. They can blend in with whatever they need to do to stay out of trouble, or to stay out of the spotlight, or to get in the spotlight when they want to be. Basically, they are, I mean, these guys are predatorial ninjas. If they change a lot, you know, the term snake, that's what they are. They are the true term of snake. So that's a sociopath. So now my next question is, when we talk about psychopaths, our image of psychopaths are, right? I mean, that's what we think of the criminal version. Psychopaths, as Dr., and I'm going to butcher her name again, okay? Like I said, I posted a link. Guys, check her out, man. I really enjoy listening to her talk. But, okay, it's in the link. It's, I'm not going to go back to it right now. I got to pull up the psychopath stuff. But the way she was explaining is, essentially, psychopaths are born. Now, this is really interesting to me, because if you're born with the physical inability to have empathy or love, does that automatically transfer to evil? I guess what I'm saying is, if there's a vacuum of empathy or love, and me and Sax were talking about this last night, how does that mean that you're automatically prone to doing bad stuff? Okay? Are you automatically prone to doing bad stuff? Or can you have a psychopath whose motivations to be something cause them to be an absolute sleeper path? You know, a psychopath, like a sleeper agent, who just basically may be a good person their entire life, not because they have any concept of good or have any goodness in them, but because of a self-interest. So an example of that would be this. I want to be, this example I kind of gave to Sasha last night. What if I wanted to be an astronaut, or I wanted to be something super secret squirrel special, okay? Maybe I wanted to be an agent for the NSA or whatever, CIA or whatever. And I knew this from a young age. This is who I wanted to be. I watched James Bond movies. I researched it. This is who I want to be. Or I want to be an astronaut. And as I researched it, I realized that everything, in order for me to become this, I'm going to have a lifestyle, a life of being essentially a good person, being dependable. Maybe I want to go to Yale. Maybe I want to go to Princeton or Harvard. And I know that it's such a competitive nature that the grades and GPA didn't get along. They're going to look into what people have to say about me, what I write about life, how I view things. And as I'm doing that, you know, I am plotting my entire life. So I am a good person. I do treat people with respect. I am considered in a way. I do things that my entire life I'm a good person by physical action and definition. But I have nothing in here. I'm as empty and dead in here as you can be, because I'm a psychopath or I'm a sociopath. But I'm specifically talking about being, you know, they say that psychopaths are born that way. What are the religious implications of that? I would be curious to talk to pastors and priests, or those who are into theology, and I would really be interested in hearing what their opinions on that is. If I am born without a conscience, as Christianity teaches it, or as whatever theology that you are you capable of, can you go to heaven? Do you have salvation? If something inside of my brain does not allow me, or I don't have what it takes to give a crap about anybody, can that be changed by God, by church, by religion? Her answer to this, when they were talking about therapy, basically what she said was, when it comes to psychopaths and sociopaths, that there's almost very little hope for treatment or for any change, because these are the people who will manipulate a therapist. They don't think anything's wrong with them. They don't have a problem with who they are. Society does. Okay? So think about that for a second. They do not have a problem with who they are. Society does. Therefore, they aren't interested in changing. So, for all of my faith-minded friends, what are the faith and religious implications of someone like that? What does it mean? All right, I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts on that. But if you spend your whole life as a good person, but with that that goal in mind, what happens if you fail? Is this what happens to people like Timothy McVeigh? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is very interesting to me. Timothy McVeigh was a soldier in Desert Storm. He was the Oklahoma City bomber. He was the terrorist, the domestic terrorist that blew up the Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma Federal Building. All right, back in 1995? And one of the things that is interesting about him is he failed in his life as a soldier. Maybe not as the way we think that he failed, but in his own mind he failed. He wanted to be a group guy. He wanted to be special forces in the army. And I'm talking about Green Beret. I don't know if he wanted to be a Ranger or whatever, but he wanted to be a Green Beret, as I understand it. And he didn't make it. And then after that, he developed contempt for the army, or for the world, essentially. And when the giant whatever that you can call Waco was, and I do not think that was a disaster from what I believe. But the point is when he saw that, I don't think that Timothy McVeigh, who claims to have done what he done as payback for, he claims to have been, he killed all those people in the federal building because, of what the federal government did to all the people in the Waco situation. Now you can believe that if you want, but I don't. That was an excuse with him. He just used it. He's a psychopath. He failed at life. He had grand expectations of himself. He thought he was all that, and he didn't make it. And then he looked for somebody to attack. He looked for somebody, because at that point, there was no point anymore of being the good guy. Now his true nature could come out. And his true nature was absolute contempt for mankind. Any real person who failed, who wanted to be a Green Beret and they failed, would have just kept trying. Or would have realized that, you know what, maybe this isn't, this isn't cut for me. Maybe I'm not cut for it. Maybe I'm just not the best. Or, for whatever reasons, this isn't my path. And they would have went on and found a new path and succeeded at something else. But if that caused someone to turn around and kill hundreds or thousands of other people, and then says some crazy shit like, well, this was, in revenge for the people at Waco. No, you're just a psychopath. You're just crazy. You were going to kill a bunch of people anyway because you failed at life, because you were a fucking loser. And you couldn't handle it up here anymore, because now everyone saw that you're nothing. And once that happened, your true nature came out. And this is what happened. That's my personal belief on it. But anyway, let me get to, we were going to Google psychopaths, right? That's what we're going to do. See what kind of 7 this or 10 that we can find about psychopaths. All right, so what are we going to go? Ways to know if someone... Jessica says, your dialogue has piqued the interest of my 16-year-old, and now they're listening. What? Well, cool. I'll try to watch my language. This is rated R for adults, so if someone is a psychopath, we're talking real psychopath. We're not talking about your girlfriend when she gets pissed off, or we're talking about the real deal. Okay, so you start to get a lot of similarities with sociopaths and narcissism that I can see. You guys, like I said, health professionals, man, chime in on this one. hit me up. I love that. I love to talk to you. Maybe you could be on the show. Maybe we could have a discussion in person. You could tell me about your training experience with these disorders, because they fascinate the shit out of me. Psychopaths, according to psychcentral.com. I don't know how reliable a source that is. I'm not vouching for anything. This is actually just the first thing that popped up. Probably shouldn't make it the first thing I read, but we're just going to roll the dice on it as soon as it pulls up here. Hey guys, I appreciate you watching. Leave a comment. If you're local, leave a comment, and you will be in the running to win a 1 month free at All Time Fitness Gym. So the way we're going to decide that is you're going to leave a comment. I'm going to look at everyone that left a comment. You have to follow the Rogue Way on Facebook. I'm not going to require you to follow anything else for this competition or for this whatever. But I do appreciate if you go to TikTok, go to YouTube, Twitter and Instagram, and follow, subscribe, whatever you need to do on all the social media platforms. But for the All Time Fitness 1 month free gym membership, all I need you to do is leave a comment. Let me know that you're local. If I don't know that you're local, please put local on there so I don't award this to someone who's from another state, or there's grand expectations of me, like anyone outside of Monticello listens to this shit, right? But leave a comment that you're local, and your name will be entered into the competition. And I will, after this show today, I will draw a name, and that's it. You'll be the winner, and I'll post the winner on Facebook. Okay, how to recognize a psychopath. Psychopaths are extremely manipulative. Think about psychopaths you've seen and read about. While normal people wonder how anyone can come under the sway of such heinous individuals, the sad truth is the common psychopath characteristics of manipulation. Psychopaths are extraordinarily manipulative. You're talking like Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars manipulative. I mean, they can turn the whole world on its toes and manipulate it. They're quick to read others well. They're always ready to exploit weaknesses. They make great salesmen. These are the dudes that will sell you a timeshare when they know you can't afford it. They might sell you, they might be the whoever, the salesman who doesn't give a crap about you. That could be that would be an example. They're not interested in what you physically can do or what you can't do. They're only interested in getting it done. So sizing up you in an instant, they can they can read you real well. They can see your vulnerabilities. It pops up to them because, and I'm taking a stab at this. I don't know, but I'm guessing if you don't have empathy, if you have zero empathy for someone, when you look at them in a very objective way, maybe, and then you can see things that you wouldn't normally pick up if you actually cared about them. So if I'm talking to someone and I have empathy, and I have a lot of empathy, and sometimes people can get over on me really easy, to where I look at a person, I try to put myself in their shoes immediately. A psychopath doesn't have that capability, or at least according to what I'm reading. Again, disclaimer, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going off what I'm reading. If that is the case, then I could see how they could be a really good salesman, or they could manipulate others real easily, because they don't have that border of empathy, of emotion, of looking at a person and going, man, I understand where they're coming from. They don't do that. So they just see, I guess you could say, how to win. Sizing up you in an instant upon first meeting, psychopaths will quickly exploit any weakness or vulnerability that they found. Psychopaths have a laser-like ability to identify a person's soft spot. That's scary, okay? Capitalize on another's big heart or willingness to fall into a tall scheme. They recognize your faith. They recognize your emotions, your caring, your soft spot. They can see it in a minute, and they will take advantage of it instantly. And either for a reason or just to do it because it gets them off. In personal relationships, a psychopath will gather all kinds of information about you, and they'll use it against you later. If someone is collecting information on you, okay, that should be a red flag. Okay, if they're going to use it against you later, if they're just collecting information, something really weird about that. All right. If someone did that to you, I would immediately, when you try to bury somebody and you've collected all this information and everyone's going, oh my God, look at all this information they got on this person did this and this year, this person did this. My immediate thought is that may be effed up, but what about the other dude that was keeping track of this shit? What's up with that? Is anyone looking at, they are amazingly charming. You'll never meet a more charming person than a psychopath. Well, not everyone who's charming is a psychopath. All right, girls, your boyfriend, he was charming, doesn't mean he's a psychopath. All right, full disclaimer there. However, every psychopath has the ability to charm you right away. In fact, their charm is a hallmark characteristic. A psychopath will hurt you, and you'll never see it coming. It says, having read you well and knowing your weaknesses, a psychopath may not immediately act on this information, but he or she will, however, use what's been gathered against you in the future. Neighbors, friends, coworkers will be in disbelief after learning about someone they know who's ultimately revealed as a psychopathic personality. A psychopath's victims will never see it coming, okay? This is the definition of a snake, man. You don't see him coming until he freaking bites you. You trusted this person. You have depended on this person. But when they decide they're going to hurt you, look, I'm always suspicious of anyone who's always quoting Sun Tzu. If anyone's saying terms like all the time, keep, the mafia phrases, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. If anyone's always saying things like it's chess, not checkers, all that kind of shit, man, there's something going on in their head that is very manipulative and very strategical. And though that doesn't mean that they're a psychopath, just be careful, because you may be the enemy that they're keeping close, or at least they may perceive you as a threat or an enemy. Be careful with people like that. Anytime someone's always talking about Sun Tzu, or they're always talking about business, or how to get, it disturbs me when someone's talking about that shit all the time, because to me, it almost looks like they don't give a shit about except anything about winning. Something to think about. They have no conscience. A conscience implies a sense of morality, okay, a moral compass, whereas a psychopath has none. Someone who lacks a conscience can readily believe in unconscionable ways, and psychopaths plot and devise scenarios where they carry out their heinous acts with glee that normal human beings cannot even fathom. They get off on hurting others. It is a power trip. You guys seen the movie Horrible Bosses? It's about psychopaths. It's a comedy. It's fucking hilarious. All right? Kevin Spacey is hilarious in that movie, but he's got some issues in real life. That dude is like a psychopath or a sociopath or whatever. But that movie is about narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. You know what we need to do? We need to watch Horrible Bosses and Horrible Bosses 2, and I would like to evaluate the bosses on those shows. 2, you got Chris Pine, and 1, you got Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Spacey. Am I missing someone? I think that was, Colin Farrell's character. God, man, that was hilarious. You guys haven't seen Horrible Bosses. That is fucking great. Colin Farrell is got a comb over and anyway, this is live. I can't edit this shit out. So, watch that. But we're, neighbors, I already read that shit. Okay. So they have no conscience. They get off on hurting people. It's a power trip. The fact that they can hurt you, the fact that they have that power over you or anyone is what keeps them going. It's their freaking go juice. Fear is an alien concept to the psychopath. These are guys, as the doctor I was talking about earlier put it, they can get pulled over in a traffic stop and have a body in the trunk and never exhibit any signs of being stressed or afraid. These are the things. These are the Ted Bundys. But not necessarily that. You don't have to be a serial killer to be a psychopath. You can be a CEO. You can be anyone. But those would definitely be that. Most research on emotional ability of psychopaths is postulated that somebody with a diagnosable psychopath. whatever. Someone who's actually incapable of fear. Most recent research, however, found that psychopaths may feel fear even though they have trouble in automatic detecting and responding to fear. Okay, so I didn't know that. It's saying that this person may actually be afraid, but they don't have an automatic fear response. It doesn't show up there. These are people who could pass a polygraph. They just don't have a conscience. Lying to them is the same as anything else. They don't care who or what they hurt. They don't care who or what they say. It's all about getting over on them. All right? Their eyes are dead and lifeless. How the fuck do you get dead and lifeless eyes without being dead or lifeless? Look carefully in the eyes of notorious serial killers like Bundy, Gracie, and others. Caught on video and in photographs, the images reveal a chilling aspect of the psychopath. Dead, flat, lifeless eyes. I don't know about that. I mean, okay. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's us wanting to look into something and make it different. Maybe that's true. I don't really buy that. I think eyes that are dead and lifeless just mean they don't have much emotion expressed in their face because they don't give a shit about anything. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know. It sounds a little mystical to me when you start talking about lifeless eyes. Psychopaths often speak in a monotone voice. Now, this I can get on board with. They don't have a whole lot of emotion or in their voice because they're dead on the inside is represented by how they speak. At the same time, I would tend to think if they wanted to, they could get that way. You look at Jonestown, you look at some of the more charismatic Hitler, okay, they may talk in a monotone, but psychopaths have the ability to be charismatic and to move people and to get emotion. So I would say that they can exhibit that when they want to. Psychopaths feel entitled. We don't need to talk about entitlement because it was narcissists and sociopaths cover that one. But this one, rules don't apply. Following the rules don't mean shit. Obeying the laws of society mean nothing. These are entitled people. The laws, the rules don't apply to them. They're better than the rules. And this is when you have to be careful about people in the business of enforcing rules and laws. There's nothing more dangerous than a psychopath who might be in the business of enforcing things that don't apply to them. Something to think about. Military, whatever. Law enforcement, whatever. Most of your people in these roles, most of your police officers, most of your soldiers are going to be people with a deep sense of country, a deep sense of something greater than themselves, a deep sense of service. All right, the majority, that's exactly what they are. There's a deep sense of service to their communities. But just imagine the one that doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have empathy. Imagine the damage he could do in a position of authority, because that's ultimately what they're looking for, right? They seem unconcerned with the consequences. If apprehended or caught in a lie, committing an illegal act, a horrific crime, behaving unconsciously, they don't care about the consequences. They don't react to getting caught. To them, they just look at it as like, it's a price to pay. It's part of the game. It is what it is. Okay, so you're not going to scare them, into giving you information or doing the right thing or changing their ways. The fear, if they feel it, it's so insignificant that it has very little, if any, relevance into their agenda. They're adapt to lying to your face. I said earlier, these guys could pass a polygraph test. And they can lie to you with a straight face and believe every word of it. At the top of the list is the true psychopath, extremely deceitful. They're able to lie this way because they feel entitled. So why can they do this? Because they feel entitled. Rules don't apply. They don't have empathy. They know what to say to get what they want. They're skilled liars. They can tell elaborate tales. They can draw in victims. They can manipulate them. They immediately see the weaknesses. They can point to soft spots. I mean, these guys are in a constant, game of hitting you with every manipulative thing that they can do. All right. And, they can do all that with showing no emotion. just no visible fear. As children, psychopaths are often violent towards siblings and commit other violent acts. So what she said yesterday was that the reason why one of the tests is how they act before the age of 15 was because if psychopaths are born this way, then they have to in order for you to diagnose them later, they have to display signs of those things as children. You have to understand that most children think about themselves. Most of them are selfish. Most of them can seem narcissistic because they're kids. The only thing they know at a certain age is I want and I need to do what I need to do to get that. But as they grow older and they start learning how to act around others and norms and things like that, and they're taught values and morality, then the psychopath won't learn any of that. And in fact, nothing will seem to put a dent in them, and they'll just do whatever they want. And killing an animal is no different than stealing a piece of candy off the counter, because they just don't have empathy. They don't care. It's just they're empty. They're basically the Antichrist as a child. So my question again is, does lack of conscience, lack of empathy, automatically relate to evil, or is it just that lack of? How often do psychopaths go through lives as good people for whatever reason? Maybe because it serves them best to do that. Maybe because the path that they want in life requires that. And when, and is their failure, if they experience failure, is that a breaking point? Is that what causes things like the Oklahoma City bombing? I don't know. It's just questions. They're all about dominating and controlling others. Summing it up, a psychopath exists solely to dominate and control others. This is what they want. They want to be in charge. They want to have control. The more he or she can discover a weakness or vulnerability or manipulate, the more likely a psychopath will take advantage in further action. Interestingly, some highly successful business leaders may display a benign form of psychopathy known as fearless dominance. All right, so just because someone is a strong leader, though, don't confuse that with them being a psychopath. Military is going to have, dominance. They're going to believe in taking charge, making things happen. That doesn't mean they're a psychopath. But the person who is that's the only reason why apparently they exist, according to this. So what I've gathered from all this is narcissist, as I'm understanding it, feel free to chime in and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, guys. But a narcissist and a sociopath has learned behavior that is extreme selfishness and very little empathy. And a psychopath is born that way with no empathy and a desire only to control and influence and manipulate others. That's how I understand it. So, that being said, awareness, understanding these people in your day-to-day life may give you just enough awareness to look around and say, you know what, this isn't okay. This relationship isn't okay. The fact that I have done everything in my power to make this person love me, or I have, whatever it is, and this person is still abusive, they're still manipulative, they still... here that something's wrong. It might be the time to talk to a professional. It might be the time to look at that. One of my favorite things before I go, guys, is I want to say this, and this is something that she said, so I'm just quoting her. When asked, what do you do if you're in a narcissistic relationship, and you're committed to it, for whatever reason you're going to stay there. You're married, I don't know. There could be a million reasons, but what do you do what do you do? Like, what do you do about yourself? And what she advised was, if you can't get out for whatever reason, or if you're not going to get out for whatever reason, then you should nurture the other relationships in your life that are healthy. A lot of times we spend 90% of our energy trying to fix relationships that are jacked up, that we are having with, maybe narcissists, sociopaths, whatever. And we neglect the people in our lives that actually want to be a part of our lives, that love us, that are loyal and good friends, that have good hearts, that want to do the right thing and really want to be a part of your life. And we neglect those people because we have fallen victim to the charm and the manipulation techniques of the sociopath, the psychopath, the narcissist. So recognizing what this relationship, how is this between you and them? Does this person genuinely care about you, or are they always just getting what they want? You may not be able to get rid of them. You may have to deal with them, but you can choose to only acknowledge and give them just enough for that relationship to sustain. Maybe, I don't know, but you want to focus on the relationships. Give the 90% of your energy, of your personality, of your love to the people who actually give a shit about you. Those who respond to your text when you text them. Those who, ask you how you're doing. They call you. They check in on you. They want to hang out with you. They care about your opinion. They listen to you when you talk. They don't just get on their phone and start texting as you're texting. I would say one of the first red flags will be that if they don't respond to your text, if when you're talking to them, they go to their phone, they start doing this stuff, if they just don't seem to be interested in you at all, minute to minute, then that should be your first red flag. And then you should start asking yourself some other questions about your relationship, about your friendship, and determine whether or not you need to cut ties with this dude or this girl or whatever. But if that's not an option for whatever reason, maybe you work with them. Maybe you work for them. Who knows? Seek your life, okay, your validation, or seek your, focus on your strong relationships. Focus on your real relationships. Focus on the people who actually care about you. One of the saddest things is to neglect those who want to be a part of your life for those who couldn't care less about you unless they're getting something from you. With that being said, make sure you guys leave a comment. If you're local, let me know that you're local, and I will put you guys in the drawing for the free month membership at All Time Fitness. Don't forget to visit your local businesses. Monticello Coffee, we love you. Stealth Nutrition, All Time Fitness. Your local businesses are there. Use them. These small business owners need your support during this time. And please, if you like the content, if you like listen to what I've talked about today and you enjoy this, hey, I appreciate it. I know it's not for everyone, but I appreciate everyone that checks in, that stays for a minute or the entire time. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, let me know that you were here. And we're going to do this every Friday. So every Friday I'll be live. We'll be dropping other stuff throughout the week on TikTok, maybe YouTube, or whatever, but this will be a live broadcast every Friday morning at 10 a.m. that I am absolutely available. Later on today, I'm going to go out to a friend's house, and he's forging knives. He makes knives, and I'm going to see how that works. So I'm probably going to film a little bit of that, talk about that next time, or maybe drop something about it before then. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time, and stay rogue. See you later.